Hello, beautiful human beings. Thank you so much for tuning into the Monarch Temple channel. It is such a pleasure to have you here. My name is Hara, and I'm the temple keeper of the Monarch Temple. I guide human beings, beautiful femmes, women, and lovers of all dynamics to really step into their deepest sense of embodiment, true, authentic embodiment that is facilitated by truly feeling safe in your body to receive pleasure, love, and abundance, and all the juiciness. And how we facilitate individuals to step into this is to step into their source of empowerment through tapping into their sacred sexuality, sensuality, and all the juiciness in life. And we weave temple principles, temple arts, and tantric principles into a way that we can integrate it into the modern day living. And it is truly embodying pleasure, love, and abundance, and to feel radiant in your gifts and your creativity and the way that you show up in this world. And so today, and on this ongoing conversational series, I'm going to be sharing some live conversational insights that have been generated by me and some beautiful human beings that were present in that live container at the time. These live containers are held through Actio Daily. It is a beautiful platform where I host different free classes for human beings to really facilitate the collective's healing through tapping into their original creative life force energy, which is really sourced in your sexuality. And a big part of it is feeling safe in your body. And the way that radical change can happen in our collective is truly by allowing individuals to feel at home in this very vessel that we are birthed into. So enjoy these conversational series. Please invite your friends, and I hope to see you in the live classes. Okay, so for this particular episode, the people who were in the Q&A section actually didn't really have any particular question. Now, something that is interesting is I noticed that oftentimes this happens. People go into the Q&A and then they kind of like, I don't know what to say. So we got to dive into this practice where we tune in within, where we checked in with ourselves to practice asking for what we need, asking for support, and really tune into yourself through this episode if this is the same for you. Are you able to ask for support? Like when you come into this Q&A sessions, and it's really meant to be, how can I support you deeper? A lot of people actually like they blank out and they don't know what to ask. So really allow yourself to ask an embodied question. The questions could come from here or could come from our bodies, right? So an embodied question is this question that is generated from the body's knowledge. And that's kind of a practice that we got to dive into this morning together, as they were kind of discovering what is feeling contracting and where do they want to expand. Because a lot of us in humanity, we're so in the go 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 mode that we're not even thinking about like, oh my god, like what questions can I ask to have this feeling better in my body? Like it's not about having the situation better, because nothing is better or worse, but how can I feel even deeply more in alignment than ever before? So we got to discuss that. And also through this episode, we got to talk about friendship wounding, people pleasing, contraction around work, like feeling tense throughout the day, taking the yoga off the mat. So really being open to what you get to receive from here is also a big thing. Um, because again, if this has crossed your path, I believe that there is something here for you.
So let's try something, because here in the hot seat sessions, I really want to invite you to ask anything, right? And it could be whatever comes out, could be channeled guidance, could be just intuitive, could be a little psychic reading. So whatever it is that you need today to expand you, I invite you to bring that question to the table. And this is also a practice around being able to ask for what you need as well. So take it into that degree of awareness. Like take this practice, take this moment in the next 30 minutes, a moment to nourish you. Or was it 20 minutes? I think it's 30 minutes or 20 minutes. I don't remember. But anyway, what we can do right now is actually, let's just do a little practice. And we can practice by asking for what we need, right? Asking for guidance, because this is the same way that we co-create with the universe. If you're just kind of like, I'm open to receiving, then you can receive anything. The universe doesn't really, what is it called? Doesn't really discriminate. It doesn't, and the subconscious certainly doesn't discriminate. It doesn't know any specific around your question. So when you say, I'm ready to receive, you could be receiving debt. You could be receiving people who are not feeling in alignment to your heart. So it's good to practice to be able to, okay, what do I need in order for me to expand right now? So as we're here, and each time you come to these sessions, I'm just going to invite us to a little bit of an embodiment practice at the beginning. So go ahead and bring yourself into a seat, or if you're laying down or wherever you are, if you're walking around, you're running errands, you're doing your chores, wherever you are, just pay attention to your posture. Maybe take a pause in a moment and close your eyes if you can. And just take a moment to see if you notice any contraction in the body. Go ahead and just bring your breath into your body and become aware of being inside. And sit here in a moment. And because you ever hear that saying, the quality of our life is determined by the types of questions we ask. So tune into that point of contemplation into your body. And if you're walking around, you can't close your eyes, just simply bring yourself into a sense of deep presence in your body and let that land in your body. The quality of our lives are determined by the types and the quality of questions that we ask. And reflect on that and see if you could bring yourself into a state of awareness around, okay, what question can I ask today to support me through this week, through this day? Start simple, through my intimacy life, through my relationships. Through self-love, self-worth, money, abundance. Feel into that. And just allow the question to form within. And once you're ready, if you hear anything, go ahead and just type it in the chat or the question round. And if you don't hear anything as well, that's okay. Then let me know and we can go into some prompts. And the first question I would love for us to reflect on is, what feels contracting in life right now? What is a block that I can identify that is standing between me and my fullest embodiment of a life that feels completely just fulfilling, radiant? Does anything feel like that? Maybe the answer is no, and that's okay. And I'll give us like a minute to reflect on that question. And try to see if you could practice answering, even if it's like, I don't know what to say with that. I don't know what that feels like. So just practicing around journaling from the body, from being in an embodied awareness. Yes, friendships, letting go of those that are not supportive. I hear you. Okay. And I would invite deeper into this. letting go of those that are not supportive. What does it feel like for you to not be supported? What do those current relationships feel like for you? And Nikki, I'm curious to see if you have any reflections on the last prompt. It's a small class. It's nice. We can really be with each other, and none of it is recorded. So it's actually a powerful time too to be reflecting, because we are on the new moon in Cancer. And actually it is all about building new relationships and really moving into a new zone of comfort. So it's brilliant, Anya, that you are reflecting on this. Can relate a bit with Anya. Okay. They require some degree of self-abandonment rather than being authentic. Great. Cancer is one of my signs. Yeah. It's new moon in Cancer, and it's all about like relationships. So really allow this to be a time to reflect on those relationships, right? So you're saying that you felt not supportive before, and then there's this degree of self-abandonment rather than being authentic. So right now, actually in this moment, I want us to take a full minute, actually a full, I feel overwhelmed, mainly with so many things to do, never-ending to-do list. Okay, so there's a few things here. For Anya, I want you to reflect on what would it feel like to be in a completely, what does it feel like to be in a completely supportive relationship for you? So reflect on that. Take literally the next minute just writing. Don't stop, just write it. I would even take it to 2 minutes if you want to, but really just like dropping into your body. What does it feel like to be in a completely deeply supportive relationships within friends, within all of my relationships, right? You want to tap into that, tap into an awareness. And if there's time to type in your phone, that will be the time. Really allow it to reflect and feel it in your body. What does this feel like in my body? Again, new moon, so good time to manifest things. And for Nikki, I feel overwhelmed mainly with so many things to do, never ending to-do lists. Okay, so Nikki, I want to invite you to reflect around, what does that overwhelm feel like in your body? So let's bring that into an awareness. And how often does it come into your days? So feel into that. How much of that overwhelm takes a portion of your day? What does it feel like? I think we might start a journaling club maybe one of these days through Actio, or we can just get together and journal and write. Writing is really healing process. You feel safe and calm, knowing that the body doesn't have to be vigilant. I love that. What else? What else? Really get deep into it. Be specific. Again, when you ask the universe, like, it's important to be specific toward the feeling, be even more in depth. And I know this seems to be in depth already, but even like feeling safe and calm, and the body doesn't have to be vigilant. What does it feel like actually? Does it feel like, oh my God, my shoulders are rolled back, my chest can be open, and I feel that breath coming in deep into my body, and it's easy for me to be aware in my body when I'm communicating with this person. And Nikki, yeah, being aware of, what does that overwhelm feel like? When you're in that point where you usually start to look at the to-do list, what comes up? What is the embodied experience around it? Racing heart, okay. And do you ever notice how your breath is during those times? And maybe any body posture changes? Clenching teeth, okay. The jaw. What about your shoulders? How does your breath change? And again, Anya's still diving deeper into what does it feel like to not be vigilant, to feel safe and calm in your body? What does that physiological function actually feel like in your body? So part of this is like, it's woo, but it's also science, right? Being aware of our body function actually really facilitates our nervous system to drop into our bodies. And the woo part is like when we can drop into our bodies and be in complete awareness, we can co-create with the universe and then bring in something that feels in true deep alignment with where we actually want to be. Because our bodies have been programmed for centuries, right? You carry ancestral trauma and wounding as well. And you also carry their gifts, and you also carry their trauma and their wounding, just two for two, two in one deal, you know. And sometimes it's important to be aware how much of this is me and how much of this is my subconscious and its programs. Unaware of breath. Okay. So for you, Nikki, I would invite yourself when those times when you're looking at the to-do list and you feel overwhelmed, more aware of breath when I tackle a new task. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. All right. And let me see. That's a great observation. Thanks. The body flows and breaths in a harmonious way. I don't have to hold the breath and be as intense as a person as I am. Yeah, right. I'm aware of that. Yeah, exactly. You know what happens? Like oftentimes when things get tensed up, right? We like we clench and we hold our breath. It's just like a flight or a fight and freeze and fawn response. And we actually go through that response cycle all day in our body. So it's like really great to be aware on what is my body doing as I'm going through this. Now, particularly for Nikki, now for Anya, I want to invite you to like every time you meet a new person now, or even meeting those friendships right now, the letting go is going to organically happen as you allow yourself to tune into this frequency that allows you to feel harmonious within yourself. If an invitation from a friend doesn't feel good, then I would just invite you to see like, maybe I'll think about it. Maybe I'll feel into this, and take your time as you feel into it and be truly authentic with yourself, and trust that as you step deeper into your authenticity, these people are who are deeply aligned to your being, who are deeply aligned to your nervous system. And as they say, nervous system is almost like God, right? In your system. And I always say God, and when I say God, it's Genesis, organization, destruction. It's this God-like ability within you is actually largely governed by the nervous system. It's not the only thing, but it is one of the big factors. And we can really align ourselves to what we're creating in our world through just tuning into what allows me to feel in flow and expansive in my body. And then that also, you know, a lot of you, like if you have been kind of tuning into the Monarch Temple Oracle, we're big around sex magic and pleasure and love and abundance. And truthfully, none of that can be acquired without the simple practice of being aware in your body, right? And this, like, just by doing this practice, embodying this practice, being aware in your body can really open up so much space in your body. And let me see, more aware of the breath when I tackle a new task. So for Nikki, for example, with your to-do list, I want to ask you a question. When you're noticing your to-do list, what is the content? Is it normally for yourself, or is it normally for a particular, like, is it for work? Is it for somebody else? Like, what brings around the contraction feeling in your body? It's good to be aware of these little things. Okay, so for work, and do you feel in alignment with your work right now? And is it like go, go, go? Do you give yourself time to transition from task to task? Sure, already practicing it. However, I don't know how to let go gracefully. These friendships doesn't align with me anymore. My empathetic self is struggling with that. Okay, I see, Anya. So is it when you are saying you're struggling with that, I want to ask you, what is the struggle? Are you afraid of how they will feel if you let go of that relationships? Like what is the process around it? Yes, I love it, but it's a lot. Okay, so then I want to invite you to, because you said you have the to-do list, right? It's for work. And how does this habit usually generate in your day? Are you, is it like the first thing you do when you wake up? Like, what does your morning routine feel like since you have an intense work day, or at least that's kind of what it feels like? Um, what does your flow look like during the day? And Anya, really reflect on what is it that you're fearing? Yes, a feeling of betrayal being a bad friend emerges, even though we're talking about potential close friends. Okay. So are you feeling like you will betray them and you're a bad friend if you want to kind of let go of these relationships? Okay, so Nikki, you're really taking your time in the morning, meditation, yoga, and coffee. And since this is already a part of your practice, right? And because the yoga really happens off the mat, that's when it really happens. So I want to ask you a reflective question right now. Instead of me telling you, like, do this, really ask yourself, how can I bring the yoga outside of the mat and into my workday? What are some of the practices that you can bring the yoga into your work, into the way that you're creating and the to-do list? How can you also bring that morning meditative state and the yoga and the coffee and into the rest of the day? Okay. Yeah. And to-do list looks okay in the morning, but I feel need more time. Yoga and to-do list sounds great. It's not about like putting the yoga in the to-do list physically, but in a sense of embodiment of it. How can you embody the state of the yogini, right, into the to-do list? And that may be meaning like you're looking at your to-do list and feeling into like, okay, how can I just slow down in this moment? Yeah, the feeling. And yes, Anya, it's complicated being an HSP in a friendship, but totally possible. I'll keep in mind the fear that you mentioned before. Yes, yeah. And also, I want to take into consideration like a feeling of contemplation, Anya, when it comes to letting go of different relationships and feelings. It depends on our, because we don't work one-on-one together, but these are all suggestive, reflective points, right? Especially being an empath. And knowing that being an empath, you pick up lots of different feelings and with this person. And it's really important to understand, since we are an empath, we have a tendency to people please. It's just is. It's not always true, but it is a tendency that exists in all empaths because we care and we want to keep the harmonious frequency going. And we want to keep it level. We want to keep it, oh my God, like let's make sure that you feel nourished, you feel nurtured, and you're good, and you're okay. And at the same time, sometimes we forget about ourselves. And the best ways to really allow ourselves to dive into that empathetic feeling toward ourselves. How am I feeling inside in this relationship? And choosing love over and over and over again. And it may look different for you. It may look like having a clarifying conversation with that friend, with that friendship. It may look like you just allowing it to kind of flow organically. And really perfect description of it, we forget about it until we face self-betrayal. Exactly. And you kind of, and this is like something really great that's coming into awareness as we dive into this new moon, right? Because it's all about tuning in within. And it's really important for us to develop an authentic connection within ourselves, how we feel honestly about these relationships, and then to reflect it forward, because you're not. So my tough mama bear, the ICU, the intensive care bear in me always says that, by doing that, by constantly putting a face to ourselves, like saying that, no, you have to be good. Like, it's okay because you're going to be a bad friend if you don't support this person, is actually also cheating that person out of their growth, out of their true authenticity. It is, in a sense, almost like enabling the cycle of whatever it is that is happening. So Again, not always true, but all points of reflection that you can bring upon these relationships and reflect upon, is it true? And if it's not true, then what is the truth, right? Always ask yourself, what is the truth? Because our body is like the Bible scripture. It knows everything. It's like the best Google is all in our bodies right here. Yeah, thanks for these perspectives. Yeah, it's just points of reflection. It doesn't always mean that you have to let go of that friendship. It just means like there gets to be a deeper level of intimacy, openness, being completely intimate with each other in the way that you can be witnessing your truth, because that is a truly nourishing friendship, right? It's not this like, oh, like I have to lie about things. So let me see, right? My intuition already sent me clues. Exactly. It's always about tuning in within. Very insightful. Thank you so much, my loves. That kind of wraps up our time.
Thank you so much for joining us. And as I said, I would invite you to really share this in your community because it is available for you as a gift. So, the way that we can really facilitate abundance and to really allow these blessings to flow through the collective is to facilitate collective healing as well, so that they can experience it too, regardless of any amount of money that is in their bank account or whatever it is that feels good to you. Generosity is truly the key to tuning into gratitude and abundance and love and prosperity. So, my loves, I invite you to share this practice with your loved ones. And again, live classes can be found on Actio. You can also join my Telegram channel. The link is down here, and I hope to see you. I speak directly to people on Telegram, so it's really nice to cultivate that community center. And we're also going to start group meetings to really dive into gratitude, goddess circles, and all these things. So I really hope to see you in one of these incredible containers as we incredibly create with each other through this divine frequency of love. And I am so excited with you. And again, you can find me on Instagram at i.am.hara or themonarchtemple.com. My Telegram channel is down here, and so is the Actio link. So, sending you all a lot of love. Have a beautiful day. Keep your intention at heart to really always tune into a sense of spaciousness, peace, love, compassion, grace, and flow in your day. Thank you.